Welcome back to another Lord Duckman production. Everyone wants to know the top speed of my modified Coleman KT196 Go Kart, so today we're going to explore that, as well as perform a bunch of performance upgrades and test the new top speed after that. On the agenda, we're going to install some stiffer valve springs, an open exhaust, a bigger motorcycle carburetor, and we might even mill the head and advance the ignition timing. You may have seen in the last video that I got it up and running, but it wasn't without its own problems, so I've continued to tweak and fix things as I found them. And one such problem came up when I attempted to start it. The recoil rope broke, dumping me right on my... Sure, I could have just wrapped a new rope in there, but when I found there were other broken parts, I saved myself the headache and just replaced it entirely. The HIPA Store came to the rescue with a brand new recoil starter. This is not too hard to install and not expensive either. HIPA is a company that sells lawnmower and outdoor power equipment parts. They even have parts for go-karts and other Honda GX160 and Predator 212cc clone engines like this very engine you see here in my KT196. Well, that got things fixed and even came in a nice snazzy red color, and I really like that. And best of all, it works! Would you look at that? So please check out the HIPA Store from the links down below in the video description, because when you support HIPA, you're also supporting my YouTube channel. Special thanks again to the HIPA Store. And thanks again everyone for watching. Don't forget to likey, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back right after that intro. Welcome back, and before we go any further today, let's talk about the obvious. Duckman, where did you get those scratches on your face? Well, I got attacked by Bitti the rooster, and this was the second time in 2 days, and we'll talk about that more in an upcoming chicken video, but yes, he got a behavioral reset, and after which he's been very, very good since. But I'm very thankful these scratches have faded as much as they have in the last couple days. They actually looked really, really bad after the incident. But we're good, so let's go ahead and carry on with the go-kart. The goal is to make this thing go as fast as possible. Not worry too much about acceleration, but David and I, Ranchero 302 Me, who has the same kart as this one, unmodified, we're trying to compare who's got the faster kart. Sorry, you guys. You know, this is an edited video, and once again, we're going to have all kinds of noise in the background, so that means I'm going to be adding a little bit of music. Anyway, I started on this thing last week when my computer was down, which, by the way, is up and running again. And I put on an exhaust, or a dual exhaust, if you will. This sucker on here has two pipes coming out of it, and I did it only for the reason of the sound that it makes. Because when you have two pipes making the same note, you end up with that warbling tone. You know how it is when you have two singers singing at the same note, and you hear that kind of sound? Well, that's kind of what it does here, and it gives it a rumble that it wouldn't have had otherwise. How does it affect performance? I don't know, it might even hurt it a little bit, but honestly, compared to the stock exhaust that was on here, this thing did take off a whole lot faster. Did it affect the top speed though? No, it really didn't. Actually, we got about 26, 27 miles an hour out of it without changing anything on the engine at all, running this thing as stock. Now when I took it out the first time, I did hear some crunching noises, and it turned out that the 10-tooth sprocket that's underneath there on the jack shaft had started turning on the shaft, and I could hear this crunching kind of sound, and that may have affected the top speed because it was slipping. Anyway, the keyway had completely sheared off in the thing, and you can see that right here. But nonetheless, I was going to re-gear it anyway. I was going to go ahead and put on the 9-tooth to increase the torque that's on this thing, because I figure I'm just a little too heavy for it, and that's why I can't get it up to speed. Well, the surprise to me is even though I geared it lower, it went faster. I ended up with 30.2 miles an hour after that in exactly the same condition without changing anything at all. And I don't know, maybe the 10-tooth probably would have even pushed me a little faster than that on account of it slipping as it was, but we're going to make some adjustments today. Now that we have this 9-tooth on, we're going to do some more bolt-ons, some more things to make some more performance. I'm going to change them out one by one and see which one affects top speed. We're not too worried about acceleration because I think I'm faster than David anyway on account of me having geared it down as I did. So, well, too much talking. Let's start tearing this thing apart. comes our head. Oops, there goes our push rods. I wanted that to stay where it was. Here's the inside of our head, and it looks like the spark plug that we got from HIPA is actually burning nice and brown there like it's supposed to. It's a little sooty in there, but that's to be expected, especially with all the oil that this thing had ingested. In fact, there's still oil everywhere around the outside of the seal here, so I would say that the compression chamber did leak just a little bit when it had all that oil in there. Alright, there is our valves right in here. And then you go like that. We're going to be changing out these springs and putting that all back together. We're also going to mill down this head a little bit, so I got to take out this and pull this head gasket off gently so as not to ruin it. There it is. Oh my god, them birds are nuts. As soon as they hear my voice, like I said, they were absolutely quiet until I came out here. Check for our valve to piston clearance. What we're going to do here is we're going to, now that we've got everything apart, because yes, that is part of the process. Now, surprisingly, only one dowel on there, but it looks like there should have been two. Somebody else was probably in here before. I was not the first. No siree. Alright. Oh, before we put the head on. Alright, here we go. Line that piston down. Put a little bit of that on here. This is the stuff that I use around the garage. You can tell by how dirty it is. It's not pink anymore. Alright, that should be good. Actually add a little oil to it to reconstitute it. Usually they use water and not oil, but a little pea blaster. It's probably what makes it that color. Anyway, let's put our gasket back on here. Helps we put it on the right way. We'll go ahead and get our head. Here we go. Not truly torquing this down, just snugging them up. That'll be enough. Put our push rods back in here. Dirty, nasty, silly, putty, oily crap all over me here. I gotta get rid of this rag. This thing's making too much lint. All the lint goes in the engine, it's bad. Granted, this engine doesn't have an oil pump, so it's not really gonna pump it through the system, but still, it doesn't need to be in there. Alright. So, let's see what's in there. I believe that's top dead center, and I just went backwards on purpose. I'm not doing anything with valve clearancing, I'm just making sure that they're snug. Alright, now let's turn it. We're exhausting. We're intaking. Compressing again. Yeah, that was it, full cycle. Alright. Let's take our head back off and see what our clearances are. You know what it did? It was sticking to the valve, and the valve pulled it back into position rather than just smushing it down. So yeah, it smushed it and then put it back into shape again. Let's take some of this out. It might just be because there's just too much.
2 very boring minutes later.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the valves even touched it at all. Okay. The fact that the valves or the piston is dished also gives me a lot more clearance. But we're going to shave off a lot from this head then. A lot. And I've got a tabletop belt sander that we're going to do it on. What I used to use in the past on my 2-strokes when I was a kid is we get a piece of glass and a piece of emery, and we would tape it down around the edges, spray WD-40 all over, and just run that head back and forth. But as an adult, we have access to really nice power tools, and there's a lot more that we can do now, so that's what we'll do. We'll shave this thing down, and we're going to take a lot off, a couple millimeters even. I should have checked the compression on this before I even did it, because the compression is going to go really high now. Of course, it's going to bring the ratio way up too. I don't know what the current compression ratio is, but with this dish piston, yeah. With this dished piston that's on here, I'm gonna venture to say that it's pretty low, very conservative. All right, here we go. All right, here's our head. There's my milling work. Valves are trying to come out. In fact, you know what? That valve needs a little bit of crap cleaned out from behind it. Look at that. I'm glad I looked. All right, inside these heads, there's only one valve stem seal. It's only on the intake side. That kind of surprised me. I actually had to check, and all the YouTubers that took their engines apart did the same thing. I thought that over here somebody left something out, and you can actually see the little bit of blow-by there around the exhaust valve. So anyway, yeah, that's correct. Only one. Here's the old valve springs, and here's the new ones, and you can see the difference in thickness. And as far as stiffness is concerned, yeah, I mean, I can completely compress those. This is going to take a lot more effort than that. I probably can too. That's a spring with 16 pounds of force, and this is a 22. So we'll put that sucker right on there. Now there's two different valve, what do they call them? Lash caps? No, these aren't lash. These are the retainers. Yeah, these are the retainers. My bad. I'm really a two-stroke guy. Anyway, they are different. One of them has a more scooped out area inside of it, and the other one is more flat. The flatter one goes on the intake side, and we're going to talk about why that is in just a second. Just push them on just like that. Here's the exhaust. Exhaust has no seal, as we said. Put this in here, and this is the one that has the deeper dished concave section on it there. Push that valve back on in. Yeah, I put this together with a little bit of lube on the valves too. It's always nice to have a little extra on there. A little bit of assembly lube. Push that right on there like that. Now you see the difference in how these go, but this has a lash cap, but only on the exhaust side. When I took this apart, I thought I might have been missing something, but no, that's just the way they come. Quite a surprise. All right, we got our rockers. Rockers go in just like so, and I'm not going to, of course, gap them just yet. Just want to get them put in here. Get them started. We've got our adjustment nuts on here. There they are. Okay, this head's ready to reinstall. There's my milling work as we talked about, and man, I took a couple of millimeters off of it because these valves didn't open very much. And having dished pistons as we do on this engine, wow, those things are a lot stiffer than they used to be. Yeah, having dished piston on this is I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be flatter. There's actually a lot more clearance than I expected. So these heads can be milled down quite a bit. Anyway, let's get the sucker installed. You should be good to go. Once I put that gasket on there, it's going to space it out even more. Probably could go without the gasket, but let's put it in there. Yeah, if you hadn't guessed it already, the reason why everything is all wet and why it got so dark before everything was wet was because it rained like hell. I got everything covered up just in time and got away from everything. Stayed dry enough to be able to continue to function without getting yucky. Well, let me clean that off just a little bit here. A little carburetor cleaner and a rag, I think we'll get that. Otherwise, looks like we're good. And hey, Boomer, how you doing there, buddy? Look at him. Oh, okay, go play. Alright, well, we're going to stuff that head back on and get them torqued. Alright, first goes in, dowel pin, then put on our gasket. And I thought somebody might have been in here before me, because it looked like there was more than one dowel is supposed to be on here. Because actually you can fit 4, which is kind of a surprise to me, but no, this is the way I found it. Alright, get our head bolts out here. Start putting this thing back together. Oh my God, chickens. That's not going on that dowel properly. Father Doweling Mysteries. I'll put the dowel in the head instead. Put that in there and slip a bolt through it. Got it. Alright. All these head bolts are the same length. I do understand some engines do have some variances. Put these on here. They're all 12 millimeter. There we go. Alright, before we do anything else, let's stick in our push rods here. Let's turn this engine over and just make sure, double check, that we do have valve clearance, that it's not hitting the head, which I don't think it is, but if I do have a problem, it would be nice to sort it out now before I put everything back together and then discover it later. I'm not going to set the valves properly here. I'm just going to get it to top dead center, and then that's not top dead center. Top dead center, right there. The end of the compression stroke, beginning of the firing stroke. Get these valves just snugged. Not too tight, not loose. Just good like that. Alright. Turn this engine over and make sure we don't have anything hitting. No, I think we're way good. I probably could have milled even more than that off the head, but I don't know what that would have done to the compression ratio, because we're not doing this the scientific way. No, certainly not the scientific way at all. Alright, let's see. That's the end of the intake stroke, compression stroke. They're at top dead center right there. Okay, now we got to set our valve lash. Simple, really, really simple. You guys have done it, or you've seen me do it on a Volkswagen before. You just stick your feeler gauge in, you take your measurement, and then you snug the bolts up so that way the feeler gauge just drags lightly. I need to get the specs. I don't recall what they are. But before I even do that, you know what? I need to torque that head down, don't I? Look, man, you're a dumbass if you don't torque that head down. I've already set my torque wrench to the proper setting of 17 foot-pounds, and I did it by calibrating it inside in my vise. I don't trust the measurement on the side of the tool. It has proven to not be reliable. Come on. Surprised it hasn't clicked already. Maybe I should double check my calibration. Yeah, I better check. That seems awfully tight. Alright, no, it was correct. It came up 16.8 when I put it on the scale. I guess Duckman's just being a pussy. Fucking birds, man. Almost there. Why are you not torquing up? That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. This one. There it is. Needed just a hair more. Alright, we're going to set our intake to 6 thousandths and our exhaust to 8 thousandths. And you're probably saying, hey, why don't you make them exactly the same? And there's a reason for that. And I'll let you guys comment down below in the comments section with your peanut gallery responses as to why you believe that would be. Because I'm sure somebody's going to tell me that I'm wrong, and that I shouldn't be doing it this way, or that I'm out of specification and I should be using something that they're going to tell me that's necessary. go. And I'll answer in the end of the video, so post your comments down below as to why the exhaust gap is bigger. Right there, just like that. 14 millimeter on here and a 10 on the top. Just like Volkswagen valves, you tighten them in the nuts into each other, except on the Volkswagen valves you would use a flathead screwdriver instead of a 10 millimeter that I'm using here in my right hand. Alright, lash here is too tight, I need to loosen it up a little bit. And this side, what the hell just happened? Yeah, that went way too tight. Something goofy happened here. You don't always get these right on the first try. I never do. Nope, sir. I never do. Hey, everybody. I never do this right. Miss Piggy's always yelling at me while I'm trying to stay busy, and I have no idea. Some people say, hey, leave the tool in there while you tighten it down. That's kind of a bad idea, because there's a possibility you could, crush the tool, and these things are precision. If you crush the tool, then it's not going to be good the next time because you're going to have a ding mark in it. Yeah, getting this right from this side. Perfect. Perfect on that go around. Now we need to do the same to this side. I guess it's just the way everything fits in here. It's just everything just so damn snug and tight and compact. Yeah, that one's perfect. And that one's perfect. Okay, we're good. And the reason why this one is set wider, the exhaust is set wider than the intake, is because the exhaust gets hotter and it's going to expand a little bit more. So what happens when these engines warm up is that valve gap will essentially close because the valves are going to get longer. So there is no more clearance, or very, very little clearance, on a hot engine. Okay, good. I guess we're ready to put our rocker cover back on. I don't even know where it is. Where is it? I don't see it. Let's put our rocker cover back on. That's not the way you do it. Rocker cover up here just like so. Got these little 8 millimeter head bolts that go on here. These probably have a torque spec, but they're not overly important because it's just screwing in a sheet metal. So the answer here is just don't over tighten them. But because I'm the duck man, and it's going to drive everybody crazy. Oop, that got 2 clicks. Oh, also got 2. The thing's all warped. Oh man, it's destroyed. What are we gonna do now? I guess we're gonna have to format the hard drive and start all over again. Actually, when it starts clicking, it barely put any tightness on it at all. Okay, good. Next, I lost my brand new HIPA spark plug somewhere. A little disappointed about that. When I ran to get in from the rain, I dropped some stuff on the way in. So it's around here somewhere. It'll turn up. And meanwhile, I got the old one that was in here before. Oh, look at this. This is gonna drive people bonkers. Oh no, Duckman. Oh, you don't do that to a spark plug. Are you out of your mind? Yes. Alright, one exhaust gasket. And the exhaust can go back on now. I don't even know where it's at. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna do a little more welding on this too. I want to put a couple silencers on the end of it. It's just, it's a little too loud, but it's nice that I'm going to put a 1-inch threaded bung on the end of it so I can actually unscrew the silencer real easily, of course, when it's cold. But yeah, they'll stick out a little far, but that's okay. I don't mind. All right, we're not going to put that on just yet, but I am going to plug that intake port. Oh man, I left my parts out here last night. I just realized that. Everything got all wet. All the cardboard is all wet. I didn't realize any of that was out here. I thought it all went in. Anyway, let's plug up that port. I'm going to show you what we got over here for this side, because I got a treat for you guys. I think this is supposed to come off of here. Get that gasket and everything. I don't think we're going to need that anymore. I'm going to show you why. Why, oh why, Duckman? Why would you say that you're not going to need these things anymore? Are you out of your chicken freaking mind? The answer is yes, I am out of my chicken freaking mind. Alright, what we got here is we got a brand new intake. I don't know which way it goes on. Looks like it goes that way. This, yeah, these bolts are gonna have to come out. Hopefully there's hopefully there's new hardware in this kit here. What I got is I've got a motorcycle carburetor that's going on here, which is much bigger in diameter than the old carburetor. And these are the ones that people are putting on their racers. You can see the difference in the size there. So, ooh, there should be a rubber O-ring in there. That's not in there. I might have to take a visit to the hardware store. I also have to check the jetting in here. At sea level, what I understand, these have to be about 120. There's your choke. That's nice. You're gonna need a new throttle cable. I got a new one of them too. It's your overflows. These are nice. They're there. Good. Okay, well, I guess what's next is we gotta get these intake bolts out and hope that there's some new ones here in the kit. If not, I gotta find something. Oh, here's all the hardware. And yes, there is our new bolts. Check that out. Awesome. All right, I guess I better get an appropriate socket for that. Man, how do my hands get so damn dirty so quickly? Ew. All right, you guys have been around mechanics for a while. You understand the concept of double nutting here. In order to get these studs out, that's what we're going to do. We're going to double nut in their face. Get them right off of there. Alright. Let's see, got my impact out. It's going to drive people nuts. I love taking this thing out just for that reason. It's like that. And we should be able to wind the whole stud out. And yeah, I did use a box-ended wrench on this. Sometimes these things can stick. And it's nice to not round out a bolt head. Well, that was pretty drama-free. It's nice when things just work out. Alright, put that back in there, and then we need to loosen this back up and take the nuts off. Put our tool back on here again. Nuts on. Uh-oh, here comes the impact again. Yeah, I could have just snapped a set of vice grips on here and turned the thing around. And, I mean, I guess, you know, that's another way to do it. It's kind of the trash way to do it, as you will mar up the studs. Not that it really matters, because these are probably not ever going to go back on this engine again. There we go. Take your nuts back off of there. In the kit, it appears they gave us, I would really like this to have studs on it again, but everything looks like it's all bolts instead. Well, then bolts is just what it's going to be. How far did that thread in there? Quite a ways. Make sure I don't use the wrong bolts on here. This intake, well, you know what, I was gonna say it needs to be port matched, but it actually is. You know, there's a little burr in there, just a little burr. I'm gonna clean that out, because any little bit of extra flow that you can get out of this thing is usually a little bit better. Yeah, I could have ported the head too while I had it apart, but I think that would have been a little excessive, considering that I'm no porting specialist. But getting these edges rounded out. Matter of fact, the old gasket's still on here. Nope. And this gasket is constricting the opening. Alright, let's get this gasket off of here. I didn't realize that was a gasket. I thought that was the casting because it was the same color as the aluminum. Now let's look in there again. You know what I thought was a burr? Wasn't really the intake, it was the gasket that's in there. Alright. I gotta clean up this surface a little bit. I don't want to put the new gasket over remnants of the old one. So that might get it. Yeah, actually did. You know, I just noticed it. There was a spring missing from the governor, the one that I used to hold it back. So effectively, I think this governor has probably been limiting my speed on this thing all along. That's probably one of the reasons why my speed was the same as David's. Anyway, we're gonna, oh wow, I'm really excited to take this thing out now. Alright, we got our gasket, our manifold. Pick out all the right bolts here. Yeah, I'm shade tree mechanicking this shit. I'm the duck man. That's right. I wouldn't have it any other way. They didn't give me any washers? No washers in this kit, man. Well, hey, you know what's gonna happen here? Just realized my tool isn't going to, my tool's too big! There is no way that this socket is gonna be able to snug up those bolts. Okay, well, I can get to the bolts through these holes, however, and I probably have little short Allen keys anyway in the garage, so I'll go grab some different tools and we'll get this thing figured out. That's a little fussy, but not a big deal. Not the end of the world. Alright, I got me an Allen key T-handle. Here we go. That'll fit right in there. Just like so. I can get that started now. Alright. Pick up the gasket on the other side. Boy, these things are really meant for people with small hands. Oh my. Yeah, that's gonna drive me bonkers here. Alright. Well, let's get that one started. One I can get the tool on very easily. This one, on the other hand, have a little bit of an awkward angle. There it goes. Don't like that I can't tighten these down with a ratchet. I guess that'll be just fine. Alright, good. And on the end here goes our carburetor. Yeah. Should be an O-ring in there. Hey, there's an O-ring in the kit. Very nice. Be careful I don't lose that. This carburetor looks just like the one that's on the Doodle Bastard. Except I think the Doodle Bastard one might be a little bit bigger. I think this is a 22 millimeter, and I think the Doodle Bastard one is a 30. But it looks exactly like it, just scaled down. Alright. We go on there just like that. We get our nuts and bolts and hardware and crap. Make sure that these tools can reach in here, because you know we have some clearancing issues on some of this stuff. Before I even get to this, I should be rejetting that carburetor. There are some jets here. I went ahead and picked up a jetting kit with this thing. We want like a 120 for this altitude. I might have to go a little bigger than that, but we'll experiment. But we'll start with the 120 as a base point. Alright, you want a good screwdriver for these, because sometimes these carburetor screws are so tight. And if you use the wrong one with a head that's improperly sized, you strip the head of the screw out and then you're gonna have a bit of a problem. And this is a, it might not look like a great screwdriver. This is actually a Hazet screwdriver, made in Germany. It's actually part of the spare tire toolkit. And no, I don't have the spare tire toolkit box, but I do have some of the tools from it, and this is one of them. My dad gave this to me along with a handful of the other tools that go inside of one of those boxes back when I was a teenager. One of the best gifts I ever got from Dad. Okay, all right, down the side of that bowl, we got an O-ring that's sticking to things. No, it's not an O-ring. It's interesting. It's got 3 O's, the big one and 2 little ones. And there's our jet, our main jet currently, and sometimes these have no sizes on them at all. You know, thank China for that stuff. Let's see, 95. Oh, that's way too small. Way too small for this. All right, I didn't bring out a flathead, and I should have, but did not. All right, well, we'll get that out of there. We got a good flat tip screwdriver to get this jet out of there. Put our nice 20 or 120 in there. While we're in here, not a bad idea to just give it a little clean out. A little spritz. Never hurts. I mean, it's probably fine, but as I said, never hurts. Look through that jet also. Yeah, looks like it's clear. That seems unusually big for a 120. Alright. This is one of those times, again, you want a good screwdriver. Otherwise, you will eat up this jet. It's brass and they are delicate. This is just an 8mm in here in the emulsion tube. Just give that a little snug. Looks like it's good. And then our idle jet here. Ooh, that was actually loose. Good thing we checked. Probably would have vibrated itself out. It's tight now. Alright, and what you guys didn't see that I should have talked about, this is the float pin, the hinge pin, and I took this out when I disassembled the carburetor because they have a tendency to fall out. And once they fall out, they disappear, and you never find them again. So, needless to say, I didn't lose it this time because I was smart enough to think ahead. Alright, we're ready to put our screws back in there. Alright, there's our carburetor. Our bolts are in place. They gave us a phenolic spacer, a prophylactic spacer. I don't remember the correct word. Phenolic? Something like that. Anyway, this is to keep the heat out of the carburetor. It's kind of nice that they gave that. And then these long intake bolts that run through everything. Let's see if I can get in there and get this turned. Yes, I can. Very nice. And we got another little 10mm. Goes on the other side over here. I like that the carburetor is so easy to get to. This is really nice when it comes down to making adjustments. All right. One carb is on there. This is a round slide carburetor, so the slide should be in here. If I can get it out with my pinky. Here it is. Here's our needle on the end of it. There's a little spring in there that retains it. A We'll check where our setting is at. It's in the middle. That looks good to me. Good to start at the baseline right in the center. What happened, Boomer? Oh, you got chased by a rat. Oh, you gotta love them Pensacola rats. Did he hurt you, Boom? I heard him shout. He was definitely disturbed by the rat. One of them was nesting once upon a time here in the yard, underneath one of the trees, and I saw a skeeter walking around in that general area, and I saw the rat come out, and the skeeter started breakdancing. I didn't see the rat anymore. I didn't understand why skeeter was, you know, bouncing around and doing flips and shit. It's because the rat was hanging off the back of her head, and it finally bit her on top of the head. It broke the skin, but thankfully rats have a dry bite, so I wasn't too worried about her getting any illnesses from it. And things like rabies really doesn't spread to birds anyway, not naturally. Only in a lab. Okay, that's good. We're good on here. I think we need to check our throttle cable next, because I know that this stock throttle cable isn't going to reach. Here's the stock throttle cable, and as I said, not going to reach. It ends right here, a few inches too short. Probably would have reached had I have not lengthened this chassis, but too bad, I'm not shortening the chassis just to make the throttle cable fit. Alright, so what we got is a brand new universal throttle cable kit here. To make us a new throttle cable for this thing. Custom length, I couldn't just buy something pre-packaged, so I'm gonna have to make one. I don't mind that. You know why? Because I'm the duck man, that's why. The MFDM, guys. Yeah. Alright. Here it is. I should have. Has the little bullet on one end, that's good. And then it has a whole bunch of ferrules in here, and little barrels and end connectors and all that wonderful stuff to finish up this cable, so that way I can make the ends for it. But this little guy actually looks like it might be correct for the slide. Let's find out. Oh yeah, it's perfect. That end is perfect. Very nice. Okay. Well, that end we're not going to modify. No, we are not. Alright, we got to loosen up them tunnel bolts. Gotta love living so close to the fire and rescue, I'll tell you what. We did this loosening here to get the cable out because it has a tendency to torque down on it when I tighten this thing up. This new longer cable, I'll be able to give it a better route too. I didn't like the harsh angles that I had to put it in before. Okay, pull this whole cable out. Yes, Bitti, I know you're there. I like this adjuster on the end here, though. If I can keep it, I will. Uh-oh. I mangled that cable just a little bit. Uh-oh. I guess it'll be alright. I don't know if there was an adjuster in the kit. If there's not, I'll get one out of my junk bin. I usually keep the adjusters off of old cables. This barrel in here is not releasing off the pedal. Come on, you bastard. I'm gonna get you, bastard. Alright, it was that little barrel on the end that didn't want to release, so what I did was with a pair of needle nose, I just spread it open a little bit. I cheated. So I'll squeeze them back together before I put the new cable back on. No big deal. See how much slack we have in it. Wow. Okay. I ordered this and I ordered it. This is maybe they measured the inner wire and not the outer. This is only a few inches longer than I need for it to be, but you know what? I'm not going to shorten it at all, because that gives me the ability to pull some slack out of it and move it around a few different ways. Or when I put the custom engine on here in the future, which might have the carburetor mounted up much higher, this will work out just fine. Okay, let's push the inner wire through it and see if this is unusually long. Maybe that was the case, right? Feeding that cable. And that's all of it. There's zero slack on this end. Let's see what came out. You guys got to see it before I did. Looks like we got about a good 10 inches or so out of there. That's plenty for what we're going to need. But yeah, this cable was marketed as much longer. It's exactly what I needed. I'm not cutting it at all. I'm going to put a ferrule on the end right here. We're going to, I actually fed this cable in backwards because I needed to have that little bullet on this end to go down inside of here. Well, that's okay. We got a measurement at this point, so we know exactly how long this thing is. All right, well, let's pull it back out, feed it back in the other direction, and then we'll put our ends on and start setting this thing up and make sure everything works. And yes, there's the adjuster. It looks like we did have one after all. Killer, dude. Wow, I didn't even see that in there. Oh my God, those birds are nuts today. They're gonna drive me crazy. Okay. Hey, enough. All right, there we are. Cable's all made up. Got my end on there. That barrel needed to be silver soldered. Came out pretty good. That end was already pre-configured. I built an adjuster into the cable there, and I put the adjuster that came with the cable on this end, but I used the nuts from the old cable because they were much thicker. And if you know anything about having thicker nuts, they're less likely to strip out when you make adjustments on them. So anyway, this sucker is ready to install. So we'll put this in here, we'll put some fuel in this thing, and we might get this thing started up. Yay! All right, we got our cable. Let's install it on this slide. There we go. This one here. This can be a little tricky. Oh, nice. It doesn't even fit in the top of the carburetor hat here. This needs to be widened up just a little bit. Yeah, the ferrule don't fit in there. Something I should have checked before. No big deal. I'll just run a drill in there real quick and ream it out. Alright, well, we got a little more work ahead of me. Alright, this should fit on here now, and it does. We got our spring. I should have left the other end of the cable off. It might have been a little easier for me to do this. Shit. Yeah, I should have left the other end off. And it's starting to rain again. How about that? There it goes. Look at that. How beautiful. Put that in here. Make sure the slide goes down into position like it's supposed to. Make sure our cable's not tangled on anything. Yeah, looks like it's in position. Well, it looks like there's a little bit of play that can be adjusted out of it. That's okay, because I built for that. Of course, I can adjust it up by the pedal too. I'm just going to dial this in real quick right here so that way everything feels good. I think that's where it's going to be. Look at that. Alright, we now have one operative cable. Let's go step on the gas pedal and see if she works. one air cleaner. Goes right on here, just like that. The only downside to this air cleaner is it could get muddy, but I guess I could build a shield or something for it. Yeah, that's on there pretty good. Somewhere around here, there it is. Hey, wasn't it a gas filter? I almost called it an air filter. Well, we're gonna put that in up here, because up here we happen to have two fuel lines coupled together by just friction, and we'll use this instead. Now, you know what? It's the wrong diameter. Oh, it doesn't fit in that hose. Yeah, maybe if I stretch it out. All right, well, that's what we're gonna do. We'll stretch that hose out. All right, we got our fuel line hooked up. Turn it on. Looks like we got flow. It's going around and around and around. I never cut this fuel line. I didn't want to. I didn't know what I was gonna end up using or how I was gonna use it. Seems to be filling up that carburetor good. Looking for any leaks or anything that's overflowing here. And it looks like it stopped flowing. Good, so the float did what it was supposed to do. Okay. Well, good. We got to put the exhaust back on, and then we have to fix my pull starter. All right, here is my pipes. Let's pull this plastic back out of here. That doesn't need to be in there. A couple of 13mm nuts. Same ones that go on the exhaust flanges and intake flanges on a Volkswagen. That made me happy to see that. I expected to see some 12s or something. Alright. Use this to snug them up because the socket don't fit down in there too well. And yes, this exhaust does look burnt because it was formerly painted. It's just some 1-inch tubing that came from a hand truck, the same hand truck that I used to build up the frame. So the orange has been gradually burning off. There it is, one exhaust. All right, it's starting to rain a little harder. I'm gonna quickly cover everything back up and we'll come back out here as soon as we get another pause in the weather. Yes. I reminded myself that last week while I had no computer, I brought home a shed. And the great thing about this shed is I actually got paid to take it away. Yeah, it was part of a job. So rather than dispose of it, I put use to it. So I got paid for a free shed. That's right. Isn't it nice when life works out that way? But anyway, I kept covering the cart and I had no idea as to why. I could have just shoved it in here to keep it dry, and in fact, I could even work on it in here a little bit. So let me show you what's going on here. All right, still raining out here. Yeah. Let me get this thing out. All right, preparing for a first start. Our gas on, our choke on. Flip it on. Watching the bubbles go through the line, and we're ready to start it. Oh shit! Okay, that was not what I expected to have happen. Even the chickens are laughing at me. All right, well, we're gonna have to replace that. Here we are, guys. Busted rope. Alright, well, let's not have another mishap again like we did earlier. Alright, fuel is on, choke is on, everything is on from before, on switch is still on. HIPA pull starter is doing what it's supposed to do. Oh, it already fired. Wonderful. Here we go. Overflow lines are going to drive me nuts. They're just going to fall off anyway, so we're going to put them away. Oh, and adjusted the idle screw and the low-speed mixture just a little bit. Otherwise, I did virtually nothing to it. It sounds good. I'm not going to do anything too crazy with the throttle, or I'm going to have an accident. But as soon as it stops raining out here, we'll take this thing out for a test ride. Yeah. Don't do that. Well, we're back, and the sun came out. I don't believe it. It was just super cloudy a bit ago when I pulled the go-kart out. I went inside to poop. I came back out, and the sun is shining. A little cold out here though, but the sun is nice and warm. Oh, for whatever it's worth. But anyway, the temperature, yeah, it's just it's gonna keep falling tonight, so it's probably gonna hit freezing again tonight. So yay, welcome to Florida. Anyways, we're doing a speed test on my KT196, as you know, and yes, thank you so much over there, Icebox, for chiming in. We're gonna take this thing out today, and let's see if I got it going faster or if I kind of ruined the engine. I guess we'll see. And if it blows up, hey, that's not such a big deal because the goal is to replace it anyway, but we're gonna have some fun with this thing. On. May need to choke it. I had it running earlier. Might have flooded it. Yep, I did. I probably didn't need to choke it at all. Alright, here we go, guys. Along for the ride. Got my speedometer set up here. Unfortunately, I can't hold it at the same time, so I'm just going to hit the record button on it. It's recording. I'll put it down in my pocket. Hopefully my fat belly doesn't block the GPS too badly. Here we go. Let's see how fast we went. Oh boy, I haven't seen it yet either, you guys. Alright. Go turn off the recording. Check my top speed. Oh, there it is right there. 36 flat. Let's check the trip history and see if it gives me a decimal point on there. Nope, 36 flat. 36.0. It's really windy out here today too. I venture to say it might get another mile or two per hour faster than that, but that's not bad. 6 mile an hour increase over what we had before, or 10 over where we started out before I put that sprocket in. There's still a few smaller adjustments I need to make. Yeah, I might even up the jet a little bit because we are at sea level here. And people said 120 is fine, but maybe 125 might be a little better, so we'll experiment. But yeah, that was awesome. That was it just does massive burnouts in the dirt, man. You saw I got stuck earlier because sometimes it'll just dig 2 holes and just get stuck. I don't know, kind of surprising. But yeah, that was fun. Take off. Look at that. All right, well, I'm going to call that a 100% success. We're going to do a little additional tuning on this in the upcoming videos before I do replace that engine, because I'm having fun with it as it is. I also need to fix some of the steering geometry of the front. I noticed something that's very important, and one of the reasons why the thing handles like complete garbage. It drives like a garbage truck, I'll be honest with you. A little more nimble than that, but nonetheless, drives like a damn garbage truck. So we're gonna make some adjustments to that. I'll show that probably in the next upcoming video, so watch for that on the next Small Engine Saturday. Thanks to everybody that was watching. Special thanks to HIPA for sponsoring this video. And I guess that's it for now. So licky, likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck the dingle belly so you get updates every time I upload a video. And check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links. I got a lot of different stuff, you guys. I got other YouTube channels. I got Instagram. I got a Twitter page. I got a Facebook. You can reach me in all kinds of different places. And if you'd like to email me, duckmancycles@duckshit.net. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. We're ready to start. Oh, shit! Okay. That was... Right, well, let's not have another mishap again like we did earlier. So much for not having another accident, huh, guys? Oops!